In the small, quaint town of Canton, Connecticut, unbeknownst to the people who live there lives a restless soul who is fated to complete his mission in death that he was unable to fulfill nearly 300 years ago in life. Long before this was a shopping center, this was the site of the Dudley Case Tavern, a popular resting spot for weary travelers. Most visitors to this upscale shopping center, nestled in the heart of the Farmington Valley, are unaware of the legend that is associated with the site. It's a story of betrayal and gruesome murder that dates back to the Revolutionary War. In the autumn of 1777, the Battle of Saratoga was raging in New York State. The colonials had suffered crushing defeats up to this point, and they were joined by the French to aid them in the fight. However, while the colonials were fighting for their freedom, French troops were mercenaries, fighting for monetary gain. A young French paymaster was entrusted to ride to Saratoga with the money needed to pay the French troops. As he traveled through the area of what is now Canton, Connecticut, he realized that he would not be able to reach the colonial encampment in Saratoga before dark. Although his plan was to race through the night to Saratoga, a driving rain and the looming darkness convinced him that he should rest for the night. No doubt the lights of the Dudley Case Tavern in Canton were a welcome sight that beckoned him through the gathering gloom. He decided to spend the night at the tavern. That would prove to be a fateful and fatal decision. When he entered the tavern, the paymaster was eyed with suspicion by the patrons and the innkeeper. Although he didn't feel welcome, the young Frenchman requested a room for the night. His case, which held the money to pay the French troops, was with him, and the innkeeper surely must have noticed the gold and silver coins within it. The innkeeper showed the French paymaster to his room, and that's where things took a fatal turn. The money for the French troops never made it to Saratoga, and the paymaster was never heard from or seen again. When the paymaster didn't arrive in Saratoga, the French dispatched a rider to investigate, who was able to determine that the paymaster had stopped at the Dudley Case Tavern. But the innkeeper swore that the paymaster left early the next morning, and his whereabouts were to remain a mystery. Nearly 100 years later, in 1874, the tavern, now known as the Hosford Tavern, was completely destroyed in a fire. It was then that the skeletal remains of the French paymaster were found, with one gruesome detail. The head was not attached to the body. The legend says the innkeeper decapitated the French paymaster with an axe as he lay in his bed sleeping, and buried him under the inn. Even today, people have claimed to have seen the Headless Horseman of Canton, Connecticut.